Hey guys, and welcome back to the Peteytown Piranhas College Football 26 Team Builder Dynasty. In this episode, we're going to be finishing out the regular season with games against Appalachian State, Old Dominion, and Purdue. And that game against Old Dominion is going to be really important as far as conference standings, which I'll get into now. Looking at the Sun Belt standings, we're here at 9-0 and 4-0 in the conference, while Old Dominion is right below us with 8-1 and 4-0 in the conference. So this game is going to be really important to determine who's going to be represented in the Sun Belt Championship, and I don't even want to think about losing any of these two Sun Belt games we have coming up, and if we just take care of business, we'll be there. So that's where I want our focus to be. Looking at our recruiting before we step into our final regular season games, we're in the top 5 stage for George Emmanuel now, and we're going with a double soft sell strategy because we're not exactly sure which sell is going to be for him, but we really want it to be clocked in because those are the best grades, so we'll see what we can get there. Then you look at Quincy Jones. We have him on a Week 12 visit, but it's Week 11 right now, so Duke is right behind us with that Week 11 visit, so hopefully that doesn't give them too much of a boost heading into this one. Thomas Rico looks like he's going to sign any week now, if not next week. For David Jewell, we have him on a Week 12 visit, but Ole Miss is still in the lead for him, but we will be getting him on a hard sell, so we'll see if that can make up any ground. Now it's time to visit Appalachian State with their 4-5 record and 62 overall to our 80, so let's see what we can do. Couple of runs from Pete A. Caruso get 5 yards, so it's 3rd down and 5. Pete Manning is looking, and he's going to hit Pete A. Caruso out of the backfield for the first down. With a bunch to the right of the formation on 2nd down, Pete Manning is going to send Pianca in motion. He's going to point out a check to the offensive line, and he's going to look and hit Juju Johnson on the Texas route to get us another first down. Pete A. Caruso's been busy on this drive, and he's getting to work yet again on first down, as he's going to immediately get us a first down. From the 25-yard line, it's going to be an empty formation for the Piranhas. Pete Manning is going to find in the seam Pete Ackler, who gets himself open. We had the right play against the right defensive coverage for Appalachian State, and Pete Manning dissected it nicely to give us a 7-0 lead. Appalachian State comes out on their first drive. We're going to start with a handoff that splits our defense, and they're going to get a nice, about a 12-yard gain on there. 3rd down and 11 here for the Piranhas on defense. They're going to send their guy in a little motion, and he's going to drop back. A little pressure comes his way, and he gets around our defender, and we are going to bring him down at the 46 after they get the first down. Empty look here for Appalachian State. They're going to try a deep ball, and their guy is open in the middle of the field, and Peter Eris brings him down after a 22-yard gain. Play action, and it's going to be a fumble. Jordan Crawford gets the strip sack, but Appalachian State recovers it, but not after a 10-yard loss on the play. 4 wide receivers for App State. They're going to do that little motion again. And this time it's going to be a screen, and they're going to get around our defenders, and Dylan Phelps finally brings them down after 13 yards. 3rd down and 7 just inside our 30-yard line. We're going to drop back to pass and try a deep ball, and it is going to be knocked away. Nice play by our DB. This will be about a 45-yard field goal for Appalachian State. The kick is going to go up, and he is going to put it through, so 7-3. Our offense stalled out on their last drive, and Appalachian State's getting a big run here out of a goal line formation to make it 2nd and inches. Another run up the middle here, and they're going to convert the first down just before midfield. Another pass here for Appalachian State. They find their guy in the flat, and we're going to give up big yardage on that one, and they're going to get it to our 32-yard line. Empty formation for Appalachian State. They're going to toss it over the middle, and somehow it's intercepted. What a play by our defense. That is going to be Daryl Collins on the interception for the Peteytown Piranhas, the first of his career, and we're celebrating on the sidelines. Daryl Hollis gets his first interception, And he just stepped right in front of that one. What a beautiful play by him. Our offense couldn't do anything with that interception, so the defense is back out here. And it's going to be a toss right over the middle, and they're going to get a first down. Bringing some pressure, but they read it nicely, and they're around our linebacker, Anthony Kaufman, and they're going to get it into our territory again. Appalachian State moving and grooving now. They're going to do another play action and toss it deep downfield, and they got their guy perfectly on that one. Dylan Phelps finally brings him down, but not until he gets to the 3-yard line. Just another example of perfect play call against the defensive coverage there. We didn't really have anybody back deep to help us on that one, and that left Dylan Phelps on an island. Coming out in a goal line formation here. They're going to try a toss play to the outside, and they are going to get the blocks they need, and their guy can walk into the end zone. And Appalachian State's going to take a 10-7 lead on us. Let's see what kind of response our offense can have to that touchdown drive by Appalachian State, and it's not starting well as we got a 2-yard loss. Pete Manning is going to drop back, and wide open Pete Ackler, who's got a nice out route. He's going to outrun their DBs, and Pete Ackler is going to put us back on top with a very long touchdown grab. Perfect play call there, and Pete Ackler just used his athleticism to get around their defense. We've seen him do that before, and he does it for us again in a big spot as we're going to take a 14-10 lead. 3rd down and 5 for the Mountaineers. They beat our guy off the line, and a big hit's not going to jar the ball loose as he's going to get it to the 44-yard line. Oh, and an interception. Dylan Phelps, he was on a zone coverage, and he's going to break away from them, and he's going to bring it all the way back for a defensive touchdown. What a huge play by Dylan Phelps there. He was in a zone, but he read what they were doing on offense, and he broke away from his zone to make an absolutely incredible interception. What a fantastic play by our star cornerback. App State's going to try to make up for that bad interception on the last possession, and they're going to start that with a first down pass. Here comes App State, and here comes our pressure as Tadarius Collins is going to get into the backfield for a 7-yard loss on that sack. Looks like App State's kind of just content with letting the clock run down here after that sack. Send a guy in motion, but it's not going to matter, and we're going to close out the first half with a 21-10 advantage. So nice job by the Piranhas fighting back really hard after going down 10-7. Here's an outside handoff that goes nowhere thanks to Anthony Kaufman on a 5-yard loss. 3rd down and 14 for Appalachian State. Dropping back. And Peter Latagoski's going to get in there, and he's going to add to his national record for single-season sacks. And we are going to get Appalachian State off of the field. Offense is going to start on the 39-yard line on their side of the field, and it's going to be Pianka Croning getting free, and he's going to get the first down. And it's going to be a pop pass to Pianka Croning, and they weren't there to cover it. Their safeties weren't in the right position, and Pianka Croning splits them, and he's going to put us up 28-10. Heavy pressure coming, and they're going to get a screen pass out of it, so they had the right play call there against us, and we finally bring him down, but not until he gets to the 37-yard line. Another drop back for App State. They're going to fling it over the middle of the field, and they find the soft spot in our zone, and they get it all the way to the 33-yard line. Some pressure coming in, and Tadarius Collins is going to get home again on our 4th sack of the game, and it's going to make it a 3rd down and 20. 3rd down and a mile here for App State. Desperate for anything to put some points on the board here. They got the time they need on this one, but that time quickly goes away as Tadarius Collins forces him to throw it away. Bounce motion for Pete A. Caruso, and he's going to get the handoff, and he's got a little space, a spin move, 2 spin moves, get him a nice gain as he's going to get us to the 40-yard line. 3rd down and 9 for the Piranhas in the eye. We're going to try to surprise him with a run up the middle, and Pete A. Caruso is going to get enough for the first down. Big pressure here from App State, and Pete Manning gets it out there before he can get to him, and that's Isaiah Johnson on the first down catch. From the pistol, it's Petey Caruso, and he's got a hole, and he's going to get us another first down on this drive, really running effectively here. Juju Johnson's going to go up the middle, and they sent a blitz, and we're going to run right by it as Juju Johnson's going to get himself into the end zone. So they sent heavy pressure there, but they didn't cover the right gap, and Juju Johnson makes him pay with a nice touchdown run. Here comes some pressure from Dylan Phelps, and Dylan Phelps out of the slot cornerback blitz is going to get the sack. So he's got the interception for a touchdown and a sack now on what's been a big day for Dylan. They have to go for it here on 4th down and 16 with nothing else to lose. They're going to drop back, and Tadarius Collins is going to get in yet again for our 6th sack of the game. And from here now, I'm just going to let it sim to the end as we're looking good, up 25. So the Piranhas add 17 more points in that 4th quarter to get the dominant 52-10 win over Appalachian State. And just, as usual, very pleased with how the Piranhas played in this one. Against Appalachian State, we had 445 yards on offense to their 277. While we were able to get 162 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground, and they only mustered 23 yards on the ground. We had 283 passing yards, they're 254. We had 6 of 9 on 3rd down, nice, and they had 2 of 9. And we ended up intercepting their quarterback 4 times on the game, so very nice job by our defense. Pete Manning was about as efficient as you can be with 259 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. And he was only sacked once, and he only had 2 incompletions the whole game. Pete A. Caruso was solid with 18 carries and 80 yards, while Peteytown Grant came in for 751 and a touchdown. And Juju Johnson added 5 carries, 32 yards, and a touchdown. Pete Ackler was a big star receiver today with 6 catches, 145 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And Bianca Croning had 3 for 59 and a touchdown. Defensively, the star of the day was definitely Dylan Phelps, who ended up with 7 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss, a sack, and that interception that he returned 58 yards for a touchdown. The defense ended up with 6 sacks on the day, with Tadarius Collins getting 2.5, Peter Latagoski getting 1.5, and the aforementioned Dylan Phelps getting a sack, and Jordan Crawford getting a sack that he forced a fumble on, but we didn't recover it. And then we mentioned those 4 interceptions. Dylan Phelps had 1, Peteytown Glenn had 1 off camera, and as well as Daryl Hollis getting an interception, and Matt Caraway had an interception on their last drive of the game. And Petey Boy nailed his only field goal today for 33 yards. And some good recruiting news as that center Thomas Rico, a 4-star, does commit to our school. Dylan Phelps had his overall game recognized as he was the Sun Belt Defensive Player of the Week. And on the other side of the ball, Pete Ackler was recognized as the Sun Belt Offensive Player of the Week. So for George Emanuel, he's coming on a visit for this big game coming up. And we do have his hard sell, but it's not the one we wanted, but we're going to go with it and see what we can do. Thankfully for Quincy Jones, it looks like Duke had a fairly okay visit, but they didn't overtake us, and now we're going to have him on a visit, so hopefully it's enough to get him committed before he goes on a visit to Texas Tech. As for David Jewell, he's coming on a visit with us, so it's really now or never for him. If we can get enough of a boost to get us over Ole Miss, but this one's going to be a little tougher. So here comes our big game against Old Dominion. They are 9-1 and 5-0 in the conference, so they won their last game to set this big matchup up. So we'll see how we can handle ourselves with that, and also we got some recruits coming in for visits, so overall just a very big week this one. Our offense manages some yards but can't finish off the drive, so Old Dominion's going to come out here seeing what they can do, and they're going to get a nice 6-yard gain on their first play. Another handoff for Old Dominion, and Jordan Crawford brings him down for a 5-yard loss. 3rd down and 9 for the Monarchs. They're going to drop back to pass. We bring some pressure, and the pressure is going to get home as Jordan Crawford and Petruchio DeLucchio come in to combine for the sack, and we're going to get Old Dominion off the field. Tight quarters here, and It's always a risk reward. Sometimes you get a block in that situation, but we got in there so quickly. We hit their punter, and it's going to be a flag and on King Peter, and the Old Dominion Monarchs are going to come back out on offense. So the penalty gives Old Dominion some new life here with a fresh set of downs. You're going to hand it off and nothing doing as he's going back for a 3-yard loss. The Piranha tank is really rocking now with some stadium pulse on this play. We're going to throw it, and it's a hitch route, and they get it to 3rd and 1. Place is rocking again here on 3rd down and 1. They're going to try a quarterback run. He gets stopped up a little bit, but nobody can get through the line, and they're going to get the first down. 3rd down and 12 for Old Dominion. They got 4 receivers to the left of the formation, but we're going to bring the pressure right up the middle that he wasn't expecting, and it's going to be Anthony Kaufman on the sack. So after that mistake on special teams, it looks like our defense is going to step up again and get us the ball back. And Peteytown Bell is going to break free on the punt return, and he's going to bring it all the way back for the touchdown. Peteytown Bell ran into a crowd there, and somehow he managed to get himself out of it, and he's going to bring it all the way back for the first punt return in Peteytown Piranhas history. Unbelievable play by him, and we're going to go up 7-0 on Old Dominion. So on the previous drive, the special teams kind of screwed up, but they made up for it big time on that one. 2nd down and 4, they're going to hand off again, and this time they're going to find the gap and get it to just around our 41-yard line, or their 41-yard line. Punch to the left now. Old Dominion's going to drop back to pass. Some pressure's coming through, and it's going to get home with Jake Arkin bringing him down for the sack. 5-yard loss on the play. After that first down sack, we're here on 3rd down and 16 for Old Dominion. We're going to drop back and throw it short, and it's just going to be a short completion. Finally, after all that, the offense can come back onto the field to see what they can do. And they're going to start with a nice RPO slant play out to Isaiah Johnson. Juju Johnson lost a couple of yards, so here we are on 3rd down and 5. Pete Manning dropping back. The pressure comes in, but he delivers a nice strike there, and we're going to get the first down with Pete Ackler. Here comes an I formation for the Peteytown Piranhas. It'll be a handoff to Pete Caruso, who's got a nice gap up the middle, and he's going to get it into their territory to the 46-yard line. Pete Manning out here and empty. He's going to drop back and throw it over the middle, and he's got Pete Ackler, who's making a nice gain for us, getting it all the way down to the 22-yard line. Here's a little motion, and Pete Manning is going to toss it over the middle of the field again for Pete Ackler, and you want to throw it to him if you want to play. Near the end zone, it's a wide double stack for the Piranhas, and it's going to be a pass, and it's going to be a simple completion, and we're going to get the touchdown with Picky Rahal, and the Peteytown Piranhas are going to go up in this big matchup 14-0. Here's another drop back, and Peter Latagoski is going to get in there and hit him hard for a nice sack. 3rd down and 9 after that sack. Stadium's rocking once again. Old Dominion's going to throw it quickly, and it's going to be overthrown and intercepted by Peter Eris, and he's going to get us to their red zone on that return. Peter Eris just waiting for an opportunity. Their quarterback overthrew his receiver, and he's saying it was a miscommunication, trying to cover his tracks, but Peter Eris was there, and he wasn't going to be denied an opportunity on that interception. Peter Eris sets us up right in their red zone from the 20-yard line now. Pete Manning is going to fire to Juju Johnson over the middle of the field for 7 yards. 2nd down and 3. Pete Manning drops back, fires outside the numbers, and it's a complete pass on a contested catch by Bianca Cronin. 3rd down and goal now, trying to punch this in. We're going to do a RPO play, and Pete Manning lightly tosses it over to Picky Rahal for the touchdown as he gets in for his 2nd of the game, and we are going to go up 21-0 on Old Dominion. Solid 3 and out from our defense, and our offense comes back onto the field just under 2 minutes left in the half. We're going to get a throw outside the numbers to Picky Rahal. Here comes Pete Manning throwing the ball again. He's got a nice corner route out there, and it's going to be a big play for our offense, as that's Kyrie Toon, the backup tight end, making the big play for us, stepping up when we need him to. 3rd down and 1 for the Piranhas. Pete Manning looks, sees what he's got, and he just manages to get it away before they can bring him down for the sack. Petey Boy's going to come out here for a 34-yard field goal. He's got it up, and it is through the uprights, so it's not going to be the 4-score lead we were hoping for, but we will take the 24-0 lead over Old Dominion. Neither offense did anything at the end of the first half, so here comes Old Dominion, and they're going to get a big run here and swerve around our defenders. They're going to get a big gain out to the 46-yard line. Play action for Old Dominion. The pressure almost got in there, but their receiver makes a nice catch after their quarterback was running for his life. Here comes some pressure, and he gets it out before the pressure gets there, and they make a contested catch for another 1st down. From the 29, another passing play, and they get it out again before our pressure, and he's getting close to the end zone, and he's going to get it all the way down to our 5-yard line. So a few times on this drive we've had pressure closing in, and their quarterback has made very good plays under that pressure. See if we can make a goal line stand here. 1st down and goal. It's a screen pass, and their block's set up perfectly, and they're going to get into the end zone. So after shutting them out all the first half, Old Dominion comes out in their first possession of the second half, and they go right down the field on us to make it 24-7 and give them some life going in for the rest of this game. They are going to go for 2 here to make it a 16.2 possession game. They're going to hike it off and throw it quickly, and they are going to get their 2-point conversion as their tight end did a little stick route. After that touchdown from Old Dominion, both defenses have really locked in, getting 2 3-and-outs each. So here we are with just over 2 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. We're getting a nice big pop pass there to Kyrie Toon. Here's a little motion action, and Pete Caruso's going to get behind their defense and make a nice reception there and get us all the way down to their 14-yard line. Pete Manning's going to drop back here. He's going to have Kyrie Toon on the drag route, and he's going to jump into the end zone and get us the touchdown. So a nice physical play there from our backup tight end with Bianca Croning feeling some kind of injury woes right now, so we'll see. Have to check in and see how serious those are, but in his absence, Kyrie Toon is out there making plays for us, and we are going to go up 31-8. Time winding down in this 3rd quarter. It's going to be a screen pass, and they get the block that they need, but the block actually sends their guy out of bounds, and they're going to have to punt it away. Old Dominion is on 4th down and 3 as we begin the 4th quarter. They're going to try a handoff up the middle, and it's absolutely stuffed by the defense as we're going to get it back to our offense. From the I formation, Pete Caruso is going to do a stretch play. He's going to get around the edge this time, and they have a guy there that's going to bring him down before he can get it into the end zone. But Pete Caruso gets us down to the 5-yard line. Here's a pop, and it's going to be a nice RPO slant, and that is Isaiah Johnson getting himself into the end zone. So that's the 2nd time, I believe, we used a nice RPO play to get our wide receiver free near the end zone, and he's going to punch it in and give us a nice cushion now. So each team traded some touchdowns in the 4th quarter, and we ended up with a 45-15 victory in what was a really big matchup for us, and we handled ourselves very, very well. So amazing effort by the Piranhas in all 3 phases of the game. We had 450 yards to their 176, and our running game had 113 yards to their 35. Passing, we had 337 yards to their 141, while they converted 2 of 12 on 3rd down, and we were only 2 for 8. Not a lot of opportunities on 3rd down, but don't like to see that down in the 25% area. And then we were able to force 2 turnovers on them, while we had a turnover that was returned for a touchdown in garbage time. Pete Manning, as usual, put forth a great game with 293 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions, and he was sacked twice. while Philip Rush came in the fourth quarter for 44 yards, a touchdown, and he also threw a pick six, which we don't love, but it's all good. Pete A. Caruso didn't have a lot of opportunities today, but he was efficient with 9 carries and 60 yards, while Peteytown Grant came in for 4 carries and 52 yards. While Bianca Croning was dealing with some wear and tear issues, Kyrie Toon stepped up in a big way with 7 catches, 135 yards, and 2 touchdowns, while Pete Ackler was solid with 6 catches, 56 yards. And Picky Rahal came in and got 7 catches, 53 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And Isaiah Johnson had a modest day with 3 catches, 22 yards, and 1 touchdown. Anthony Kaufman was a leader on defense with 10 tackles, 3 tackles for a loss, and a sack. Jake Arkin had 1.5 sacks, while Anthony Kaufman had that sack. Jordan Crawford and Peter Latagoski, Petruchio DeLucchio, and Tadarius Collins each had half a sack. But Taron Glenn has really flashed when the backups come in as he got himself another interception. Then we all saw that Peter Eris interception that got us to the red zone. And Petey Boy is putting together a solid season as he made his only field goal attempt again of 34 yards. And for recruiting, we were able to grab that strong safety, 4-star Quincy Jones. Thanks to that win against Old Dominion, we saw George Emanuel get a solid boost from that visit. So now we're looking really good to get him in our first 5-star in program history. We also got a big boost for David Jewell, but it wasn't quite enough to overtake Ole Miss for him, so that might come down to the wire now. If it doesn't work out with David Jewell, we have Shaden Leinart, and we're the only school offering him right now, so we're looking good to get him. Another intriguing guy is this route artist wide receiver, 4-star Nick Cummins, and he's got really solid route running here. As you can see, they're all over 80 and 90 spectacular catch, so very intrigued by what he can bring to the table. So after clinching our spot in the Sun Belt Championship against Old Dominion last game, we're here against Purdue to do an out-of-conference game to end our regular season. They are a 74 overall, so a little bit tighter than it's been recently with our run of conference opponents. And this game is significant because we want to end the season strong, but we also want to end the regular season undefeated, and it could get us into the playoff if we can play our cards right. So really got to bear down and focus and get this win today. Purdue is going to drop back and pass, and Peter Latagoski is going to make himself known in this game with a sack on the first drive. 3rd down and 9. Purdue is going to try and see what they can get here. Going to drop back to pass. The pressure's coming in, and we're going to get him again. So Jake Arkin comes in, and our defense sets the tone early as we get 2 sacks in a row to force Purdue to punt. Here comes the offense, set up on Purdue's side of the 50. We're going to do a little bounce motion again. It's going to be a play-action pass and a nice route there by Isaiah Johnson. Nice delivery from Pete Manning. Pete Manning's going to drop back and pass and find our guy Pete Ackler on a nice slant, and he gets us all the way down to the 12-yard line. It's going to be a nice toss out there. It is Kyrie Toon on the catch. 2nd down and 4 for the Piranhas. It's going to be an RPO. Pete Ackler's fighting for his yards and only gets 3. 3rd down and 1 for the Piranhas after that Pete Ackler play. And it's going to be a sack on Pete Manning, so Purdue gives us a taste of our own medicine with a sack there to force a field goal attempt. Petey Boy is going to come out for about a 17-yard kick. He puts it up, and it is through the uprights. So Petey Boy puts us on the board, and we're going to go up 3-0. See what the defense can come up with after that solid stop on the first drive, and it's going to be more of the same as we get them down for a loss thanks to Cameron Fleming. 2nd down and 13 for Purdue off the play action, and he's going to be sacked again as Jordan Crawford joins the party, and it's 3 sacks in the early going for the Piranhas as our pass rush is showing its fangs once again. 3rd down and 17, we're in a double mug look here. They're going to send their guy in motion. We drop out of the blitzing look, and their guy is going to scramble, but not nearly enough for the first down. Great field position again for the offense after the stand from the defense. Pete Manning is going to find Bianca Croning over the middle of the field for 8 yards. 3rd down and 7 for the Piranhas now. Pete Manning's going to drop back. They're sending pressure, and Pete Manning finds Pete Ackler. He just stood tall in the pocket there and delivered a nice throw. And it's going to be a nice RPO pass out to Picky Rahal. Looked like for all the world Pete Manning was handing it off, but he waited patiently and got the big play. 2nd down and 5 here now for the Piranhas. It's going to be a flat play to Bianca Croning, and he's going to fight to 3rd and inches. On 3rd down and inches, the Piranhas come out here. They're going to hand it off to Juju, and they bring him down, but he does manage to get the first down. They gave him a nice spot on that one. The first quarter winding down. It's 3rd down and goal for the Piranhas. Pete Manning's going to toss it to Bianca Croning on our favorite play, but Purdue is going to keep him out of the end zone. And Petey Previtt's going to just settle for some points on this drive. It's going to be a kick from Petey Boy, but the points are not going to come as that sharp angle eats up Petey Boy, and we are going to come away with nothing on that drive as he missed it wide to the left. Unfortunate result for the Piranhas on that last drive, so Purdue's going to take over here. The quarterback is going to fire over the middle, and it's a big interception from Anthony Kaufman. Our middle linebacker shows his athleticism as he jumps high for that interception, and Purdue is going to turn it over to us. So after the disappointment on that field goal, Anthony Kaufman lifts our spirits again with a great play on defense. 3rd down and 2 for the Piranhas. Pete Manning fires it outside. Pete Ackler gave up the first down yardage, but looped around to get that yardage back on the first down. Here comes Pete Manning. He fires it over the middle to Pete Caruso on the angle route, and we're in their red zone. After a short completion, we're on 3rd down and 2. Pete Manning's handing it off to Juju Johnson, who stops on a dime and gets yardage for the first down. What vision by our running back there, and bravery on that take back there. 1st down and goal for the Piranhas. This time our play is open, and they stop him again, so kudos to them for stopping our favorite play, one of our favorite plays down here, and Bianca Croning can't get into the end zone. I formation on 2nd down and goal. Pete Caruso is back there. He's going to get the handoff, and their defensive lineman just bullied his way into the backfield to bring him down. These goal line situations have really been haunting us, and we're going to find Bianca this time, and this time they hit him, but he fights his way into the end zone. He said, "I've been denied too many times. I got to fight this. I got to fight my way into this end zone to put us up 10-0. Bianca Croning showing great effort there. After getting a first down, Purdue is here on 3rd down and 9 on the next set of downs. They're going to drop back with it, and they are going to hit their guy over the middle. Anthony Kaufman can't bring him down before the first down, so they're going to move the sticks. Another pass play here for Purdue, and it's not going to work out for them as Tadarius Collins and Peter Latagoski combine on him for the sack. 2nd down and a whole lot of yards here for Purdue. They're going to try to get some of it back with a run, and they are going to get a good chunk of it as their guy bounces it to the outside for a 12-yard gain. 3rd down and 8 here for Purdue. They are going to drop back. Their quarterback is going to try another deep ball. We have a guy there, and it's knocked away, but it's going to be interference on our cornerback, Daryl Hollis, as their receiver just bumped into him. So they're going to get a kind of lucky penalty on that one, and they're going to continue their drive. So after that penalty, they're in our territory, but on a 3rd down and 5. They're going to drop back to pass, and their quarterback is going to scramble with it and have plenty of room for the first down and way more. And they're going to bring it to the 2-minute warning. After the 2-minute warning, they're just outside of our red zone with a new set of downs. They're going to drop back to throw, and they're going to get crunched by our defensive line as Jordan Crawford and Kavan King and friends get in for the sack. Need to capitalize on that sack now on first down. Here comes Purdue firing. Peter Latagoski and Peter Jack are going to get in there. That old duo from last season combines again as Darius Collins is dealing with some wear and tear, but Peter Jack is just as reliable a defensive end on the backup side of things as you can ask for. So 2 sacks in a row have really knocked Purdue back here. It's third down and 25. And are we going to get another one? Doesn't look like it. And they're going to get the pass off. Their guy is open, and we knock it away, thankfully. Peter Ellis on the coverage. They're going to try a very long field goal here, a 53-yarder. And they're going to put the kick up. And it is through the upright, so they nail a long one there to put themselves put themselves on the board for the first time today. Pete Manning's looking to see what he's got, and he's going to fire it over to the sideline, but we can't get out of bounds. Pete Manning surveying the field, and he's going to get it out there, and a nice broken tackle by Sharon Wright Jr. to get us a big chunk of yards. Let's see what we can do here on third down and 3. No timeouts and 11 seconds left, so a bit of a precarious time management situation here. Pete Manning is going to fire it over the middle of the field, and we're going to get the first down. Let's see if we can rush to the line to get a field goal attempt up now. And it looks like we will with plenty of time to spare as Pete Manning spikes it down. Petey Boy is going to come out and attempt the 36-yard kick here. And it's going to go up. And it's going to doink off the upright, so we're going to come away with nothing. That's Petey Boy's second missed field goal of the game, so could be up a little more right now, but it's going to stay a touchdown lead for us heading into the second half. It's third down and 5 for the Piranhas here on their first possession of the second half. Pete Manning is looking and firing a strike. What a fastball there from our quarterback to Picky Rahal. Hurrying up to the line, we're spreading them out here on this formation. And it's going to be a pop pass that we usually get, but Purdue's linebacker read it like a book, and he's going to get the interception. So Pete Manning usually is so used to hitting that pop pass that he just threw it there, and their linebacker has been looking at the tape, and he knew exactly where he needed to be to make a big play for their defense. Here comes Purdue with a passing play. We're going to get some pressure on him, but he gets it out there, and their receiver stops on a dime to get himself the first down. Here comes some motion from Purdue. It's going to be a double fake, and that's going to give us enough time to get into the backfield. Peter Jack coming up big when we need him to, and our senior leader out there is just doing some great work out there, just sitting on the bench all year, just biding his time, and when we need him to make plays, he's come in and made those plays. Second down and 17 now for Purdue. They're going to drop back, looking, and the pressure is coming in again, and Jordan Crawford's going to get him in. They're going to count that as a sack, and he had some help on that one, and it's going to be third down and 17 for Purdue. Big opportunity for the defense to get off the field here, and it's going to be Purdue trying to throw. We got some spies out there to get him, and he's going to have to slide down. It's going to be a 48-yard kick here for Purdue. He's going to put it up, and it is going to go through, so they close that margin just a little more as it's a 10-6 ball game now. Third down and 5 for the Piranhas on a very important play, and it's going to be a nice pass in the middle of their zones, and Isaiah Johnson makes the clutch catch. Here come the Piranhas, and this time the pop pass is going to work to Pianca Croning as he's got big yards, so nice job from Pete Manning not being afraid after that previous interception on that same play. After that big strike by Pete Manning, it's third down and 10. He's looking at what he's got, and he's got a nice corner route out there. What a beautiful route by Sharon Wright Jr. to get himself open for Pete Manning. Second down and 5, just around their red zone now for the Piranhas. It's going to be a handoff to Pete Caruso, and he's going to get it to 3rd and inches. 3rd down and inches here for the Piranhas. It's just going to be a bubble screen out there, and we're going to get the first down easily. The red zone is proving to be a little bit of a bugaboo again on this drive, as it's 3rd down and 9. Pete Manning is looking to see what he's got. He's going to fire, and it's going to be incomplete, and we're going to have to settle for another field goal attempt. It's a 26-yard attempt here for Petey Boy, not directly on the hash mark, and it's going to help him as he's going to put the field goal in to give us a touchdown lead once again. So relying on Petey Boy a little too much today, and he's hit 2 field goals but also missed 2. So right now it's just we're doing our best, and by the skin of our teeth we got a touchdown lead. Purdue comes out trying to fire here, and Peter Latagowski says that's a bad idea as he's in for yet another sack on the day. Here comes a run for their quarterback. They're going to get around Anthony Kaufman, who is spying him, and he's going to scramble for a first down. Here comes Peter Latagowski once again, but somehow he breaks out of that. I don't know how in the world he got out of that sack, but he's going to scramble for another first down. 3rd down and 2 for Purdue. They are going to send their guy in a little motion, and we're bringing in pressure, and the pressure doesn't quite get there in time, and they're going to hit a strike for a first down. And their guy is going to run right through a gap in the middle of our defense, and now they're really threatening from the 24-yard line. The Boilermakers are well inside the red zone now, as they're going to do a little jet touch pass, but like a flash, Cameron Fleming comes in for the tackle for a loss. Cameron Fleming's tackle sets up a 3rd down and 4 for Purdue here, and they are going to send their guy in motion. Looks like man coverage for us, so he drops out of that, so maybe not. But we're going to get some pressure in, and the pressure gets home yet again. The story of the game, Peter Latagowski gets in there once again, and our pass rush has really derailed Purdue once again, and they're going to be on a 4th down and 13 with some decisions to make here. And they are going to go with a field goal on this play, and they're going to put up the kick, and it will go through the uprights, so it's going to be a 13-9 game now, and really you can feel the tension now with it being such a close game, really our closest game all year, so we'll see how we respond to the adversity. Pete Manning's in an empty backfield now. He's going to drop back to pass, and their pass rush is going to get home for the sack, and they're going to put us on a 3rd down and 15. 3rd down and 15 for the Peteytown Piranhas. Pete Manning's going to drop back. He's going to fire a deep ball, and it is going to be caught. What a catch there by Pete Ackler. He comes up with an absolutely huge play. He had a step on their DB, and Pete Manning floated it out to give him a chance, and Pete Ackler does what he does and makes a huge play for the Peteytown Piranhas. Just look at this. Just a perfect spiral on that pass. Pete Ackler just runs underneath it. Unbelievable play. After that huge pass play, we're on the 30-yard line. Pete Manning's going to drop back, fire a strike, and it's going to be Isaiah Johnson breaking a tackle. What a post route by him to bring that ball in. It's 1st down and goal. A touchdown here would be absolutely huge in this game. Pete Manning's going to hand it off to Juju, and he's going to get into the end zone on a nice little juke move, and Juju Johnson puts us up 20-9 over the Purdue Boilermakers. The offense, which has been struggling to put the ball in the end zone today, comes up with an absolutely massive drive, and they do exactly that, giving us 6. Here comes Purdue looking to throw the ball now, and they hit their guy as he was running a slant all the way across the field. It's 3rd down and 3. This defense, which has been great all game, faced with another pressure situation, and they rise to the occasion with a tackle for a loss there. What a great hit. That sets up 4th down and 6 as Purdue is looking. They're going to throw the ball deep, and it is going to be knocked away. Our DBs come up with the big pass deflection there. After that great stop by the defense, our offense gets stifled, so Purdue is trying to put something together to give themselves some kind of hope in this one. They're going to hand it off to their running back right up the middle, and he's going to get the first down. Hurrying to the line now. Here comes Purdue again. They're going to drop back. And looking, and they get hit as they throw, and it's going to be another interception for Anthony Kaufman. This time it's caused by the defensive line getting a hit on their quarterback, throwing, and he's going to throw an errant pass right to Anthony Kaufman, and he's got his second one of the day, and that's probably going to shut the door here on Purdue. So after that Anthony Kaufman interception, we added a field goal with Petey Boy, and our defense put the clamps on again to secure our 23-9 victory over Purdue. We had to sweat this one out a little bit more than any other game we've had this season, but the Peteytown Piranhas showed some real mettle as they finished this one off, and they are going to finish the regular season 12-0. Looking at the stats, it was more of a defensive battle in this one, but our offense managed to put 364 yards together to their 196. And we only had 7 yards rushing, so this is definitely our worst rushing game all season and maybe in the whole Dynasty so far, while they managed 48 yards rushing. Passing was much better as we had 357 yards to their 148. We also converted on 11 of 16 third downs while they were only 5 for 12, and they had the 2 turnovers to our 1. Pete Manning, pretty solid day. He put up a lot of yards, but we couldn't manage to punch it in all that much as we're used to. But he still had 357 yards with 1 touchdown and that interception where he got fooled by a great play by their defense. And he also was sacked twice. Pretty ugly from the running game today as Pete A. Caruso couldn't even get to 1 yard a carry as he was 14 for 12. And Juju Johnson was only 6 for 10, but he did manage to punch in a touchdown. Receiving-wise, how about Pete Ackler with 8 for 122 yards, including that huge play that we needed to put us up 20-9. And you had Picky Rahal with 7 for 66, and Isaiah Johnson 4 for 55, and Bianca Croning 7 for 50 and a touchdown. Dylan Phelps was all over the field today with 11 tackles and 2 for a loss, while King Peter had 10 tackles with 1 for a loss, including a sack. Speaking of sacks, Peter Latagoski ended with 3.5 sacks, while Jordan Crawford and Peter Jack each had 2, with Jake Arkin getting 1.5 and King Peter getting a sack. Then you had Kevon King, Byron Leon, Tadarius Collins each getting half a sack. And who could forget those 2 interceptions from Anthony Kaufman? Absolutely huge for us on defense, so great job by our Mike linebacker. And it was definitely a roller coaster game for our kicker, Petey Boy, as he was 3 for 5 on field goals, and he had a long of 46. And for the Sun Belt Championship, we're going to be facing off with Arkansas State as we're in divisions with this conference, so they must have won their division. So this episode is coming to a close as we're going to set up our next episode. It'll be a conference championship against Arkansas State, and then depending on how that goes, we'll see what the postseason has in store for us. I'll see you guys in the next video.